to a show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. And for you all listening, we've been into the new year for a little bit of time, but for us actually recording, Happy New Year, because it's still early, so whatever. But I'm glad you all made it, and thank you. And actually, my guest today is a returning guest, but last time he was on, it was in a group episode. It was episode 201, so we taking it back. But I want to sit down with this coach of mine now, because I'll be going to his Monday night classes and learning some technical jiu-jitsu and getting better. I've been using it too in open mats. So, but I want to sit down with our coach here, Christian Bear Thomas. What's up, Christian? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Just came back from the banger class at Elk Ridge. We getting ready for tournaments now. Gi season is upon us, so a little tired, but I'll always have energy to chit chat with you, man. Thank you for having me on. It's really dope. I
appreciate it, and thank you for making the time. We've been kind of going with this here and there. Like, I've messed up the time, and then like I sent the message to the wrong account, and then I'm like, and then even today, like, I was running behind, so I'm like, damn, dude. Like, we got to make this happen, though.
But we made it. I'm not too much of a time freak, especially when it's not work related. So,
Yeah. Like, there's not, like my day was scheduled for this and this alone. So it's like, after this, I'm going to probably take a shower and take a nap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just came straight from training, so I'm kind of like, little, I changed clothes and, like, toweled off, but I still feel a little yuckies. But still, like, my day is for you today, my friend. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I wanted to talk to you a big part, like, as I come to your class and I'm like watching you like teach, and the way that you explain is super technical, and it's in a way where I personally feel like for me it connects. Like, you don't add too much detail that goes over anyone's head, but you don't like give this like kind of blanketed explanation either. It's like it's almost like kind of to the point, and then hey, any questions? No? All right, like let's go drill it. Then we come back and you add to it. With your coaching, like, have you always been that way in terms of like learning and like instructing, or is this like something that happens now?
I feel like, especially with a lot of my coaching with adults, I got to have a different style for adults as opposed to kids, because they learn differently. But I try to take it a lot from Coach Julius and Coach Keith. Julius being the owner of 88 and Keith owning Savannah Park and running Owings Mills. Like, they are very good at, they can teach you the move, and they'll give you enough detail to where you can do the move, but they still leave a lot of room for you to kind of learn about it, and then makes you kind of want to inquire.
Sure.
And that's something that I really try to do, especially teaching jiu-jitsu, because I feel like, I haven't been doing jiu-jitsu for that long, but I feel like the more you do it, the more you learn it, the better at it you become. You start to do things without really knowing. So I try to really focus on, when I'm explaining a move, like, get the core movements down, kind of why we do it. And then, you kind of got to let people do it to, like, figure out why they're doing it wrong. Like you can explain a move you can explain one move for like 40 minutes for real, and then they'll go and do it, and then they won't even know the first grip. So it's like it can be kind of hard balancing how much to give and how much not to give, but I do appreciate the kind words, because I'm definitely still working on it. But that's just kind of how I think about it. I want people to be able to do it and then build on it, and then want to ask questions about it.
Sure. I look at it when I'm there, after I get done with class, because I record everything that's being instructed. So I look at it in a way as like when I go back to make my notes, is it understandable? Like, am I confused? Like, wait, what is what is he talking about? Like, I'm gonna have I gotta text him because I don't even get it. Like, no, it's always very to the point, and it's transferable. Like, I visited another gym recently and did their open mat, and I was like, I'm about to stun on these dudes. I'm about to hit them with that Monday night jiu-jitsu, and it's like, and it's not even like not basic jiu-jitsu, but it's like it's still on that level of like you should be able to get it as a white belt. It's mixed levels, so it's like the white belts can get it, but it's still applicable for higher belts as well.
Yeah.
So, going to an open mat and hitting people, it was like, y'all should know this. Y'all don't know this? All right. Well.
It's crazy, the level of jiu-jitsu that is presented to us at 88, like I pretty much give all my technical knowledge and knowing how to teach and how to train, how to do jiu-jitsu pretty much to the coaching staff, Keith, Julius, Sergio, Vanessa, Devin, like all these high level black belts, guys that have been training for 20 plus years. I mean, like Devin since he was 5, Keith for probably over 20 years, Julius since the 90s. So it's like it's such a plethora of information that like you can come in with, I just do close guard, and you'll hit guys with stuff that they're like, I ain't even heard of this, but you're like, I learned this in a basics class. It's like you start pulling out a lapel on some guy in close guard. That's a move that's been around since like the early 2000s, but you still hit guys with it. They'll be like, "Whoa, what's that?"
Yeah. Like I always feel like when jiu-jitsu kind of goes through its phases, we get attached to something new. That recency bias. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, I love me some leg locks now. Wait, oh, we're off leg locks now. What are we doing now? Well, we're doing buggy chokes, and it's like, but y'all didn't forget about the scissor sweep.
Yeah.
Like when we went over flower sweeps in your class recently, like I did it last week. I was like, oh, so y'all just act like we ain't do this ever in life. All right, well, we just gonna hit this flower sweep real quick. And even when doing it, it's like once I got the arm across, they just kind of sat there like, I don't know what to do. It was like, I mean, at least try.
At least do something.
Like, I mean, because I get there and it's like, I'm at least trying. I'm trying to like shift my weight. It's like, you ain't sweeping me because coach is looking.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Because like that's the last thing I want to get hit with is an oompa sweep or a flower sweep in front of coach, because it's just like, damn.
But then when you hit it in front of coach, then you're like, oh yeah.
Oh no, I make a scene. I am loud. I was like, hey coach,
look over here.
Did it. Move of the day.
Move of the day.
2 months ago. But yeah, it's the level of jiu-jitsu does get weird these days because, again, the recency bias. We'll find something hot and people ignore what was there. And like you said, you pull out the lapel on somebody and it's like, oh, that's always been a thing. We just stopped thinking about it because I think people get in this spot where it's like, oh, well, the lapels are old news. Everybody knows about it. So we're going to go to something else. And then you forget about it. Now it's new news. And I don't know. I will say when I see somebody pull my lapels out, I get annoyed because I work hard to tuck that joint in.
Oh, yeah.
So when
you start fishing my lapels, I'm like, all right, I already know what's about to happen.
Yeah, Mark did it today. Mm-hmm. He pulled the lapel out and tried to choke him. It's like, dog, what are you doing?
But it's also like, that's what you got to do, especially in the gi. You got to use everything you got.
I mean, well, that's the whole thing with the gi. It's a weapon overall. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, if you ain't gonna stop me from choking you with your own skirt,
then I'll do it.
Like,
if you're not gonna stop me from using your belt to stand up, I'm gonna use their belt to stand up.
Yeah, I recently we had been working on getting out of close guard, and actually I hadn't even messed with like just was like rolling the belt up and like the log splitter. I haven't messed with that in years.
Yeah.
And now that's just what I've been going to, because it's like you have to be reminded. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh shit, this is here. So now I've just been hitting people like just for fun.
But it's also there's so much. Yeah. There's so much. So it's like sometimes you get comfortable doing one thing and then you find a lot of success and then you kind of forget about all the other stuff that works that you know how to do, especially the more you train. It's like Coach Keith likes to say, he's like, I forgot more jiu-jitsu than I know, probably.
Yeah. I always feel like too, especially in our rooms, we all kind of learn the same things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going for it. So like we're going to run into this thing where you're going to counter it unless you've drilled it so much. Like you got to drill it to a point where it's like, it's unstoppable. But there have been times where I won't even go for a move because it's like, I know that I'm going to go for it. Meanwhile, you probably then moved on.
Yep.
And I missed an opportunity. So it's jiu-jitsu. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, though. Is like you said, there's so much to know that you can never know everything. I just talked with my buddy last night on another podcast where we reviewed beers, so we're a little tipsy.
Nice.
But I was talking shit.
Always.
I was like, and another thing about jiu-jitsu, I'll beat your ass. No, I didn't say all that. But one thing I was kind of explaining about it is that like no matter what, like it's rare that you're going to hear one coach say this is the only way to do an arm bar. This is the only way to do an ankle lock. This is the only way to do this sweep. And I do appreciate with your class, Mahoney's class, because these are the primary two classes I'm in, where you guys will say this is the way that I do it, or I was taught this way and I found success. But there are other ways.
Oh yeah.
But we got this. So thank you for that. And not being one of those guys like, there's the only way you can do this. No. I saw it on YouTube the other day. There was a different way.
Oh yeah, there's always a way. Always a way.
So I want to ask you about kind of like your evolution since we last spoke, at least on the podcast. What's changed most in your training for you? And just like to where you are, because I think last time we were coaching, or not coaching, last time we were talking, I don't know if you were coaching yet, or you might have been working with the kids.
Yeah,
just
I think
exclusively?
I was assistant coach.
All right, cool.
There.
And up to like I guess between that 2-year window, because it feels like I believe it was about 2 years.
Yeah, just about.
Like what's changed for you in just kind of your approach and just your style of coaching and just grappling in general, though?
Man, the past 2 years, I mean, I think one thing is that I've gotten older and I've gotten more injured. I've hurt one of my knees twice. Oof. And I've hurt my ankle, like bad pops and like all these things. So I've taken a lot of time where I'm either not sparring or drilling, or I'm sparring and drilling like kind of compromised. So I've definitely had to change my style over the past couple of years, and I think that's been a challenge, especially with my training schedule has changed. So I've not been able to train as much.
Sure.
So it's like I had to kind of reorient how I want to train and kind of rethink about that and kind of develop new skills. Because, like when I hurt my knees, I couldn't do things like play a lot of spider guard. I couldn't really do a lot of like butterfly guard or like use certain tools. Like I couldn't really wrestle up a lot either because like just that heel to butt connection would hurt too much. So it's like I've really developed a leg entanglement kind of style on the ground, because I used to play a lot of half guard. It's kind of like a little joke of me is like, this guy wants to play half guard, which is objectively a very hard guard, especially when you want to compete. It would be different if I was a casual grappler, but since I want to compete at a fairly high level, that's a hard way to go about it. So when you're in half guard, you got to kind of bend. You got to use your bottom leg to kind of keep them trapped. But when your knees jacked up, it's hard to like keep any sort of tension. So I've definitely switched to a lot of open guard. That's been a very big change. A lot of like more unorthodox positions. Like I've been messing with octopus guard and reverse close guard and just kind of unorthodox things to, throw people off and kind of work with my strengths and weaknesses. And that's another thing. It's like, I've definitely learned how my body works in terms of jiu-jitsu, which then helps me be able to kind of optimize my style to where I can kind of bring people into my area of strength and mitigate the time in my area of weaknesses. So I think that's been a very big change. And then, of course, I've been coaching a lot more. So I feel like I've been focusing a lot on the mental aspect of martial arts and jiu-jitsu through that coaching lens of kids and adults, to where it's like, I got an 8-year-old that wants to compete. This kid can't even skip 3 times without face planting. How am I going to teach him how to do how to get the close guard? Or it's like, I got a I don't know, 60-year-old guy that's jacked but has a gas tank of like a toddler. In terms of like, he does anything for 5 seconds, he's over. It's done.
Sounds like you're describing me in both those cases.
Oh no, absolutely not. This is everybody. This is everybody and anybody.
My coordination isn't great, so when I skip, I do stumble a little bit. And my gas tank is not the best, despite being on that treadmill every day. I'm like, huh.
But I gotta, as a coach or instructor, you kind of have to like empower people where they're at, and I feel like that's definitely helped me kind of apply that to myself, which has been very, very interesting and very, very, very fun.
Sure. When I was working with the kids for a little while, I noticed that my game had changed because of explaining it to a child. Mm-hmm. Then I started understanding it better. It was like, oh, wait a minute. Because there's always that weird thing of like trying to tell a child to like when we're working on like the basics, like oompa sweeps, things like that. And I was like, why isn't it working for them? Oh, okay, I need you to get your hips up higher. And then I started thinking about my own game. I was like, oh, I'm going to get my hips up higher too.
Yeah, like, maybe that's why it's not working for me. Maybe I am hanging out on my elbow.
Yeah, it was like, well, yeah, the elbow was always a big thing because you always yelling at the kids, no, you got to come up on your hand. So meanwhile, when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh
man,
I got to get up on my hand. I'm like, what am I doing? Too much thinking. Now I've been flattened back out. Okay, well, get back to it. Back up to the hand now. But yeah, like that's. Coaching is one of those things where I feel like even when I hear you talking about jiu-jitsu, I always feel like there's this next. So it's not even just about the physical of it. Like when I hear you talk about it, it always feels like there's more of a mental to it that I feel like you're diving into as well. Like just the philosophy. I'm like, dude, like that. I think that's what martial arts is about.
Oh yeah, jiu-jitsu and most martial arts, it's not really a thing that you do. I see it more as like it's a spiritual experience, This is something that your mind and your body, and if you believe in that thing, your own internal spirit is kind of all working together to do the thing that involves you being with other people and learning a skill with other people. And I think that's a very transformative experience, and I think that's kind of very... that's a very it's a benefit of jiu-jitsu that a lot of other things don't have, is that there's so much variety to it, and it requires another person. Like, you cannot do jiu-jitsu solo. It don't matter how many grappling dummies you got. It don't matter if you spend $8,000 on the new one that moves. It might break your arm if it gets hacked. But yeah, you haven't seen that?
No.
They got like this fancy old AI ran, like it's almost like a little cyborg, man. Like it can like move a little bit. Yeah, you should look it up. It's pretty crazy.
I got to make a note to myself to look into this later.
It's 2026. Who's that guy? Guy that looks Puerto Rican now. Owns Meta. Rich guy. Facebook guy.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
The Puerto Rican threw me off. I was like,
look up some of his photos. He got like short curly hair. He's looking Puerto Rican, but we got tech bros and billionaires doing jiu-jitsu, so you already know they're making some like fancy robotic stuff to do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I like that. We're seeing more celebrities doing jiu-jitsu. We're seeing more there's more people doing jiu-jitsu, but I also always feel like I think this as a comic book fan and as an old school MMA fan, I always
Oh,
felt like these things kind of went hand in hand because the fan bases are also kind of toxic as well.
absolutely.
I think all fan bases have it, but like MMA and comic book fan bases have this weird correlation where I've just because I can say because I'm in both of them, whereas like nothing is good enough. But as a fan of both comic books and then old school MMA, I remember coming up and I was always excited for either thing. But then I started thinking, it's like, I don't want the rest of the folks to learn about this because once they do, then it's going to start getting weird. And it's not because like you do want innovation, but then when it was like, hey, so we got these grappling dummies that fight back, and I was like, whoa, like y'all gotta chill because I watch iRobot and I saw Will Smith. He was going through the motions with that robot, trying to save his life and everything, and the robot trying to like no, I got emotions, and it was like, no. So if I get a grappling dummy that gets a little emotional on me, like you can't even unplug them.
Yeah, but what if somebody breaks into your house and then you got your homie with you?
Ooh, oh, we jumping them.
I'm just saying.
Me and that
Just
robot
saying.
jumping somebody.
Because what are they gonna do? They see a robot in the corner not moving. They're not gonna shoot it.
Yeah,
They're gonna think it's unplugged.
It's just a robot. Just
And then you're
chilling.
like, hey, nuts and bolts, hit them with it. Rear naked choke. There you go.
You just changed my mind.
There you go.
Now I'm in again.
I'm just saying.
I was out. Now I'm back in.
I
You got
think
me?
I think the thing with I think it's good that jiu-jitsu has more eyes on it because, you know, it's being in the community for just the short time that I've been in. It's very interesting to see how primitive a lot of the aspects of it are, just because there's just not money, there's not interest, there's not really backing for it to be better and more accessible in a lot of ways. So I think it's a good that these celebrities can kind of put an eye on jiu-jitsu, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's a net good, you know. And I think that it will help in the future, you know, just for people to be more accepting of it, you know. You know, for a long time it was like, what are these guys in these big pajamas holding each other? Like, it's still like that, but now it's a little cooler with the MMA and you seeing like all these different famous people doing it. But of course, like you said, with comic books, with MMA, which are two things that really touch home because I'm a huge comic book fan and I'm a huge MMA fan. So it's like I've been following this stuff since I was a teenager, and even in that short time frame, you know, as things become more commercialized, more money incentivized, it kind of doles out a lot of the thing that made you fall in love with it, the rawness, the realness of it, not in terms of like the action that's happening, but in terms of people's intentions and the results that come from that, you know, like you see with comic books. I mean, they've butchered so many things. I mean, I'm a big anime fan and I'm a big Naruto fan. If you watch the anime and you read the manga, you're going to think it's two different things. They butchered it, but it's because the anime made it become more popular. You're going to change some things to kind of appeal to certain people, and then it can kind of, you know, it's got its positive and it's got its negatives, you know.
I always feel like with these different things, especially when you start bringing in the general public now, you start changing things. It's like you should be confident enough in your product that you can give them what they, you know, what it is, and they're going to embrace it. I always think this, as a Marvel Comics fan growing up, and I don't want to turn this into the Nerdcast episode. Marilyn Phil's not here, y'all. So, like, I'll save this for Marilyn Phil. You know, I'll have this conversation again when he stops being bougie. This dude out there, every time I invite him on, he's like, I got other stuff to do. It's like, you got what? Oh. Relax, nerd. But, like, I see this with Marvel, you know, from the comics, and I get that you do have to update some of the stories. So, like in the original Iron Man, it was Vietnam, so you had to update it to like a lot more Desert Storm and Middle East stuff like that. So I get that you do have to make some adjustments for time. Like even with them bringing Magneto to the MCU, are we going to have a Holocaust survivor? Like, what are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
So you got to make some changes. I get it, but you still kind of keep your base stories that had a lot of heart. And I think that with jiu-jitsu as well, it's like, look, I mean, it still has heart. It still has soul. you can still utilize it. And then when you start getting people coming in, like putting money behind it, it's like, well, yeah, that's cool, but let's add some other elements to it. Like, I like the ideal of combat jiu-jitsu, but I also feel like too, it's like, well, I mean, we're just a step away from MMA again here. So, like, when people say, well, if you're in a situation, you can get slapped. You're right. But if you're doing jiu-jitsu, that's not part of the rule set. So I'm not really worried about getting slapped. But if you're in a street fight, then will go take a self-defense class or MMA class that's going to address those matters. But if I'm in if I'm in a Monday night class with Coach Christian, and suddenly he was like, all right, combat jiu-jitsu, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Is that IBJJF approved? Like, that doesn't feel right. But I mean, as things start to get more popularity and financial backing, things start to change. And it's like, because they're like, well, we got to make it appeal, we got to appeal to other people. It's like, well, I think the original stuff can still appeal to folks.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is like a conversation as old as time with everything. I mean, even with jiu-jitsu, it's like, I think a lot of the problem with the changes of jiu-jitsu is that a lot of the general public, they don't understand where jiu-jitsu came from. And, that's kind of the fault of the higher ups of the jiu-jitsu community. And I say this in air quotes because, they don't really do a good job of telling people how we got to where we are, especially in the English-speaking world, there's not really a lot of, I always complain about this, like there's not real journalism when it comes to jiu-jitsu for American speaking. There's not people that are deep diving into various figures that have kind of changed the sport, like the people that brought it to the States, the people that popularized the standards of the gyms and the competitions and all the stuff.
I got something cooking.
I would love, because I think, again, I also credit that to kind of why I know so much. And I say this as a blue belt that's been training not too long, but I feel like a lot of my knowledge of jiu-jitsu technique wise comes because I'm interested in that kind of genealogy of it all. A lot of people don't even realize that, like, when jiu-jitsu started in like 50s, 60s, and even into the 70s, I believe, like, it was only one-on-one classes. Like, the Gracies were like, I'll teach you and your buddy. Yeah. I'll teach like the military or the police. But, this like open class like structure that we have, it wasn't until, it might have been Carlos Gracie, don't quote me on that, but until he was like, hey, I'm going to start having people, pay a tuition, and then I kind of open up in class. And that really divided with like, hey, man, you're bringing out our secrets, because, this was during the time of where there was like them versus lucha libre, and there was like kind of the birth of the gi versus no gi. But it's like, these are reactions to things that are happening, but people don't really understand that. So it's like when people then start coming in and they're like, why do we have this, that, and the other? Why do we do things like this and that? It's like, there's a kind of a reason why. There's a reason why we're not focused on, like, because the big thing is like, oh, man, jiu-jitsu is just self-defense. It's learning how to be on your back and all that. It's like, yeah, that's true, but how many people are really trying to go through a whole work day and then go to a jiu-jitsu class, and we're bare knuckle fighting on the feet while trying to do takedowns and doing it the old school way? Not everybody wants to do that. I'm sure there are some people that would like it to be like that, but you kind of got to change with the times and change with people, when more people come in. And that comes with, it's negative too, where it's like, now, you got a lot of people that come in with no gi. They're like, I just want to rip leg locks and do crazy double legs and slam on their leg. It's like, brother, you don't even know how to shrimp.
That was a conversation that came up many years ago.
Yep.
Back at the old Ivy League, we had a guy come in as a white belt, obviously a white belt. But he comes in. I remember he's kind of learning just basic movements, learning how to shrimp, learning like defending side control, how to get out of side control, and like really learning what all the positions are really. And he was asked, like, is there any other questions that you might have that we might not have covered? And he was like, when can I start learning leg locks?
Amazing.
It's like, dog.
Some things never change.
This, I want to say this was 2019, 2018, 2019. It was
the start of the leg lock revolution.
It was like, yo, you got to first, like, you want to learn leg locks. how are you going to get there? You got to learn how to get to the leg lock position. You, like, number one, but number two, like, okay, if that's all you're learning, I'm learning all the other stuff. I'm holding you in side control. Where's your leg lock now?
Yeah.
Like, it's nowhere. You know why? Because I'm not letting you get up. It's, in fact, wet willy time. But yeah, like the secrecy with jiu-jitsu, that I mean, that goes back with just martial arts in general. Just way back. So I know there's always the confusion with the Gracies, because you're like, oh, you got Carlos Gracie. You know, that's the same thing. It's like, ooh, well, no, like, not quite. They're their own thing. It's like, I didn't, but this is Gracie. It's all the same last name, right? Yeah, but there's some static. Like, one don't like the other. Why not? Well, because one was not selling, but, like, you know, revealing secrets and like letting people in. And
that's even before you start adding the team dynamics.
Oh, yeah.
When teams start becoming a thing, when the IBJJF is founded by the Gracies, and then now you're starting to have Alliance and all these Gracie Bajas, and you got Alliance splitting and then forming other teams, and then their black belts forming their own teams, which then this splits, then it starts becoming real crazy.
That's just an allegory, though, for society, though.
Absolutely. Right? There's you know, humans can't get together without somebody beefing.
Yeah.
You know, it don't matter.
I always say that to my wife. It's like, if we take 10 people, and we're sitting here, we're all like, this is our little community. We're doing this thing. All right, out of those 10 people, you're might going to get 2. I was like, yeah, I don't really like this, though. And that's fine. You're free to not agree with the crowd, but you're going to have 8 other people like, I think this works best. And you're going to have those 2 people, we want to do our own thing. You're going to do your own thing. That's fine. Like, leave. And then that's where it starts. And now within that 8 that's left, you might have 1 or 2 that say, well, like, let's change this thing up. You know, it's like, people, you know, you got to branch out. You got to do your own thing. But, like, it looks crazy, especially when you're looking at, like, a community like jiu-jitsu, that from the outside, if I told my grandma this, she's looking, I was like, it's all the same to me. It's like, well, I could see how that looks that way. But if you're on the inside, you're like, oh, my God, let me tell you. Let's sit down for a minute and buckle up. This is Christmas story time. We got some tales to tell you.
Oh, yeah, so many tales.
Like, I was working on a project that was kind of going down this, like, little journey. I got stalled. I was like, oh, my God.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure how to break this down, because there's just, I don't even know where this one ends and this next part begins. So I'm just going to go back to podcasting.
That's been like a passion project of mine, kind of like mapping out what's happened with jiu-jitsu in Brazil when it came to the States and all that. And it's just so much, you know. I think that's the beautiful thing about, like, you know, when you talk to like Keith or Julius and they start talking about how it's like coming up, you're like, man, so much crossover with like Lloyd and Brazilians and like the events they've been to, and it's like there's just so much to unpack. And like anytime I look at how it evolves in Brazil, I'm like, there are too many names, there are too many people. I can't believe that. I need, like, you know, you can spend hours upon hours, and this is just what's happened. We're not even talking about techniques.
Yeah,
we're not even talking about matches, like matches between schools and legendary competitors. I mean, it becomes so deep. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even, as a sport, been around that long. Maybe like 25, 30 years. I think the IBJJF started in like the mid to early 90s.
Yeah.
But, you know, so for a very short, like, professionalized competition standard, so much has happened already. And, you know, that's with 80 to 100 years of the art being created and formulated and all these other things.
Yeah, like, I think that's what stalls me a little bit is the names.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's like there's so many, like, I can't keep track. Like, I'll get people ask me, like, do you know of this black belt? Do you know of this? It's like, I wish I could say I did. I just, like, I'm drawing a blank right now. And honestly, sometimes what it is like, because there's so much information, I am blanking. But, you know, as you start to mention more, so it's like, oh my God, okay, I do know what you're talking about. I do remember, okay, we're here. And I don't know. Jiu-jitsu is a beautiful thing. Whether it be under the ideal of competing, whether it's under the ideal of self-defense, or just like, look, I walked in thinking, hey man, I need something to add to my workout, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna walk to these dudes. Nah, I got choked on my t-shirt the first day, and I was like, I've got some thinking to do. Well, no, not the first day. I think it was because I was only training on Saturdays, so I want to say it was my third class. This dude Frank choked me with my shirt because I didn't have a gi. Everybody had a gi and I didn't have a gi, and they were cool enough to let me continue to train without a gi on. That's wild, but I did this for like a month, and I got choked with my shirt, and I was like, it's time to get a gi. Because I think that dude was mad. Like, he was like, this dude without a gi on, I'll show you.
Man, let me get that gi. Let me get that armor on then.
Yeah, I went and got a breakpoint gi real quick, blue joint. I had it for a while. I think it was my only gi for like a long time. It was on my grappling dummy. I think Mark has it now. He has the grappling dummy. I don't know if he still has that gi on there. I need to tell Mark, get my fucking gi back.
Yeah, come on, Mark.
It's my
Give him
property.
his goddamn gi back.
Like I want it. But yeah, it's like whenever you look at the reasons for anyone doing jiu-jitsu, it's kind of no one's business, but I am always curious in the sense of like what makes you tick, and then what's your expectation of it though too.
Yeah.
Because if you say I'm coming in for self-defense, and then you come into a class and they're going over octopus guard, you're like, I don't know how it's going to apply. Like, because if that dude's trying to steal my wallet,
how am I going to hit him with this octopus sweep?
Like, what? I had someone on not too long ago. We were talking about, like, what's the worst guard? And I was like, just because I just done it, I was like, I'm not happy. I was like, octopus guard, I hate it. Now I'm warming up to it a little bit. I'm still not fond, but I'm warming up.
Shout out to Eduardo Tellez. That's the man. That's the GOAT that popularized that card.
Hey, you can shout him out, but right now I got a bone to pick with him.
Don't worry. Octopus, they're the place. They're the place for it all.
Well, I'm seeing more and more of it on social media popping up, and it's like,
shout out to Craig Jones for bringing it back alive, and Adam Warzinski. People don't give him credit because he's a gi man, but he put out a whole structure on Octopus, and it's very good.
I think Craig Jones, I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming, but there's a new one.
2.0.
Yeah,
that
2.0.
And it's good.
I was like, okay, I see you, Craig. Like, you're a weird guy, but I still see you, like, jiu-jitsu in it.
Yep.
So, kind of back to your leadership and coaching style. Like, when did coaching for you become more than just helping out around the gym? And, at what point were you like, okay, I want to push and kind of grow with this versus like, I'm just helping out, just...
Since the beginning, I came in with the mindset of I want to be a coach. I want to own my own gym and do things with that gym. And I feel like if I can get an opportunity to coach, I'm going to learn how to coach and how to do it. I've always, whether they kept me as an assistant coach forever, had me become a head coach in the future, it didn't really matter to me. I just wanted to get in there. I wanted to coach. I wanted to learn what it's like and just all that, I'd never really, I'm training with a goal in mind. So it's like, I'm not really of the mindset what you just said. It's like, oh, I'm just going to do this because of, whatever. Like I'm coming at it with a wider goal, a wider lens, it's more than just jiu-jitsu when it comes to coaching. I feel like I'm helping people out. Helping them learn a new skill, maybe deal with things through the lens of jiu-jitsu, maybe see life differently through the lens of jiu-jitsu and kind of work through various things through it. And I feel like that's very important. And so since the beginning, the first day I ever did a class at 88 at the Only Mills location, right after class, I walked up to Coach Keith. I was like, hey, my name is Christian. I love the class. Trained for a year in New York. I want to be a gym owner. I want to be a black belt, and that is why I'm here. So I'm going to sign up, and yeah, there we go. He was like, okay, since this is my first day, first day trial student, they come at you saying something crazy. You're like, okay, buddy, like whatever you say. So he was like, yeah, just, I'm glad you enjoyed the class. You can sign up in front, da, da, da. And I forgot really what we talked about. We talked a little more. But yeah, so I've always just gone at it from this is more than just a hobby. This is more of just something I do. Like, this is like a very big staple of my life. So I kind of want to grow to be the best possible version of that I can be, whether it's a coach, a competitor, just a martial artist, whatever nebulous meaning you want to put to that. That's how I kind of approach it all.
Nice. I love hearing that. That was actually, first off, I didn't even know that was like, your intro. Like when you came in, it was like, yo, this is my plan.
Yeah, like when I started in New York, I remember when I was 18, I saw a video of Andre Galvao just styling on some poor fool in the gi. And I was like, everybody's
I know
seen
which
it.
video you're talking about.
It's like kind of grainy. It's like early 2000s. Some guy's like in turtle looking like he got punched in the gut. Mm-hmm. And then Andre Galvao's freaking breakdancing on this poor fool. You're like,
spinning around on his back. And
yeah.
it was like, jeez.
But I remember I saw that video and I was like, my immediate thought was like, I can do that. I can do that. Why would I think that? I don't know. I saw it. I can do that. A couple years go by, and then I get the opportunity to sign up for a local school near my job at the time. I worked at an art gallery. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I worked at an art gallery at the time, and I went and I just signed up at the closest gym. And after my first class, I was like, I love jiu-jitsu. Like, this is an amazing sport. This is an amazing thing that I've done, and I want to keep doing it. And then I trained for a little bit, and I started looking up Fernando Augustus Terere, I started watching a lot of his videos, and I found out that he had a social project in Brazil. And I remember watching videos and documentaries about him talking about it and how he used it to like help kids in the favelas to like learn English, get an education, give them a hobby to keep them out of the streets and all this stuff. Because, Brazil, a lot of parts of it are very dangerous, especially those favelas, they can be very dangerous ecosystem for people, especially children. So seeing him and other people talk about it and and just seeing what you could do with jiu-jitsu and through that aspect of opening up a gym and like the way that the community can come together to help people, it really touched me. So I was like, I've always wanted to find a way to help people, and it's like if I can do that through jiu-jitsu, I would love to do that. So like that's kind of just been my whole goal ever since then. I think I was like 22 or something like that, and ever since then I've just been dead set on open up my gym, starting my own social project, whether that be in the States. I'd go to the Caribbean, I'd go to Africa, I'd go to other places in Central South America. I'll open up a social project wherever, but it's like, that's just kind of that goal I've had. It's like, I want to become good, become actually a legit black belt, not some time in black belt. I'm cool with the coach, so I'm looking at
dojo.
Exactly. I want to be able to teach people real skill, teach other people real skill, and then open up gyms that won't just teach people legitimate jiu-jitsu, but also be a vehicle to kind of help people get out of bad situations, however it may be.
I think that's one of those things about, as things grow, it starts to get so far removed from what it originally started as. So just hearing that, it's like, dude, that's, I think we need more community building.
Absolutely. I mean, that's like a big problem that I have with, a lot of the jiu-jitsu community, especially stateside. I mean, jiu-jitsu is about community, you know, and it's like a lot of people just kind of open up gyms because it can be very lucrative. You don't really need that many members to live a pretty comfortable life owning a gym. Like, there are plenty of people that have these small rinky-dink gyms that are making like close to 6 figures a year. just off of a couple dozen people. They might come in once or twice a week, and people can make a living off of that. But a lot of people kind of view it through that lens when it's like, the joke is like to like make fun of Brazilians sometimes for like how seriously, like, you got the white belt Brazilian, they win a white belt match and like they're ripping their gi off, they're screaming. It's like, brother, you're a white belt. Even at like blue belt, they could be really emotional and all these things, and it's like it's easy to make fun of that, but like for a lot of these people, it's like where they come from, it's like this is it.
Yeah.
They win this tournament, they can start getting sponsorships back home. They can start getting eyed from bigger gyms to like get transferred to the States or to Europe. It's like there's a lot of opportunities still through jiu-jitsu, and there's still a lot of people in Brazil that this is their life, from blue belt, from sometimes even as a kid. It's like, people play football and basketball and hockey to get their folks out of bad situation, get themselves out of bad situation. It's the same for Brazilians.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that can sometimes be missing, where you bring it to like, you bring it to these more developed countries and you start getting these snobby people start doing jiu-jitsu in a competitive scene. They elevate the sport in a lot of ways, but it's like sometimes the attitude they bring, it kind of erodes that kind of, that communal aspect of it all. And I feel like that can be very much missing a lot from jiu-jitsu here.
Yeah. I see it a lot through social media, and I know social media isn't the real world,
but it's a part of our world.
Yeah.
It may not be completely real, but it's still a window.
Yeah. I see a lot of bad attitudes about jiu-jitsu one way or the other. There's always the talk about like people getting into martial arts and it changes their lives. It picks them up. It takes them out of a bad situation. And one of the things that I remember listening to Joe Rogan, he had War Machine on.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 3 weeks before he attacked his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to the episode and thinking, like, good for that dude, hearing that story, his turnaround. Like, the martial arts worked for this dude. I was like, martial arts changes lives. This is good. Then 3 weeks later, there's that. And then it kind of reframed my thought on it. And this was, like, not too far off before I started messing with social media and really connecting the two. And then start seeing more and more of, like, you're seeing a lot of good stories, yes. And then you're seeing, the folks that come in and they're still, it's calmed them down, but they're still, rough.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, when it comes down to like this community of jiu-jitsu, and that's what this podcast is about. That's what BJJ Wiki is about. All of it's about, kind of growing the community and connecting people. And there are times where you get people that are like, they really embrace it. And get other people that really kind of throw rocks at it. And I think that kind of goes to like what you're saying, as it grows, you'll get, I don't want to say the wrong people, because I don't think there's any wrong people by any means, but you get people who come in who have this attitude about jiu-jitsu, kind of like bullies. Like, let's think Cobra Kai even. Mm-hmm. Like, they come in and it's like with the bad attitude already, and now I know how to do stuff, and I still have a bad attitude. And it's like, oof.
Yeah.
You're the one.
Some people call it chauvinistic, maybe.
Yeah.
This macho kind of attitude. But that's kind of where it kind of goes back. That kind of goes back to like the roots of jiu-jitsu. It's like people kind of make fun of gi jiu-jitsu about people. It's like, oh, so like these kind of nice, dorky, worky people doing jiu-jitsu. But it's like before, that was like jiu-jitsu was like the thug sport,
Yeah.
These guys were just going around beating people up, dojo
storming.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah. So it's like there's been a lot of work to kind of reverse that image of jiu-jitsu. And it's like, you're still going to attract people like that because not saying that like a lot of people with that type of attitude are prone to do stuff like that. But it's like you said, they'll have a rougher attitude. They might have a rougher view on things involving it because, at the end of the day, it's a combat sport,
Yeah.
especially once you get more competitive, it's like you're putting people to sleep, you're breaking limbs.
Like it's
it's
a fight.
It can be a very dangerous thing. Yes. There's a lot of like MMA fighters will be like, jiu-jitsu isn't a fight. What do you mean? You're not getting punched and kicked. I'm like, okay, you go with Coach Sergio and he's mad. All right. I want you to let Coach Sergio just go full out for like 2 minutes. You're gonna feel like you got hit by a car. So
2 minutes seems like a little, relax. Let's
let-
go a minute.
Let Devin Riley really style on you in that gi. You're not gonna feel good. You're not gonna be like, I can go 10 more rounds. Like, no, man, your neck's gonna hurt. You're gonna have gi burn. He might wrist lock you a couple times. He might even put you to sleep. You don't know what could happen. So, a lot of people, they kind of get the wrong idea, the wrong impression. But it's like, that's kind of like, when you get those rough people, that's when it's the job of the coaches and the overall community to kind of, settle them in. Because it's like you said, not everybody, like, will be bad. And, I think that's kind of the beauty of martial arts, is that you can take rough people and kind of expose them to other ways of life. And that can kind of help them kind of calm down their attitude, There's a couple people at the gym, I ain't gonna name drop, but, they came in a little hot, acting a little crazy, but then eventually they kind of mellow out. Life goes on, they get exposed to new things, and then that kind of reflects in their jiu-jitsu. That kind of reflects in how they kind of view jiu-jitsu and approach it. But that doesn't always happen, Sometimes them forever white belts will be spazzy and aggro forever.
And I think, like you said, the community, the coaches, it's kind of takes a village, if you will, to raise a child or to raise a white belt.
Oh my gosh.
If just for lack of a better term there. Like I came in, and granted, I was in my late 30s when I started, so I kind of got a lot of the meathead, tough guy stuff out of my system, but it was still in the back.
Yeah.
And I do think about that. Like I have friends, even my wife has said, like, you're so much calmer. You're so much like, you just have a different approach to situations now. Whereas before I was very emotional and, like with friends, oh my God, like my Nerd Rage Radio friends, like over there, they call me Dante the Destroyer. It's like, they're just like, it wasn't that like I was a problem, but it's like if the situation came up, I was the first one to jump in swinging.
If the right knobs were pressed,
yeah,
it's go time.
It's like, oh, you need something fixed, I'll fix it. Oh, there's a problem, I'll exterminate it. Now it's like, oh, there's a problem, let's go talk to some. Let's go figure it out first. And like I always say to people, like, I don't want to have to fight nobody unless I am cornered. And I don't have a choice. And even then, there's always a choice.
If there's a fence behind me, I might try to climb it.
Yeah, like when I say corner, like I remember talking to a friend at a baseball game. We were in a suite, Some might brag, not me, but
living it up.
Actually, when I had one job, we went to all the Ravens games in the suite.
Oh.
Well, like there was always a drawing each week, and I rigged it because everybody there was a Washington fan. So I would take all those Washington fans, like, look, put your name in the hat. If it gets pulled, give me the tickets. I got you on lunch for the week. I think there was a Thursday night game. I won all the tickets.
Oh, man.
And I didn't know what to do because it was like, I just needed 3. I didn't need these other 5. But I was talking to the friend. We were sitting there in this suite watching baseball, and he was interested in jiu-jitsu. Like, we got to talking about fighting and self-defense and everything. I was like, look, I have no interest in fighting anyone. Even if all of y'all in this room ganged up on me and cornered me, I'm going to still try to get out through that door without fighting. But if I have to, I told him, I was like, you're first. I was like, you're the first one I'm hitting. And then I'm going to rush to that door.
To that door, yeah.
And if I get stopped, then, but there should be very, very few reasons why anyone should have to fight.
Absolutely.
Like if you're fighting, it's almost like you're choosing to fight. It is a choice. I always say, like, if somebody hit me, it was an accident. You hit me twice, people fuck up twice. You're not hitting me a third time though. That third one is not happening, because by the time like you even consider cocking back, I'll bite you.
Dante the Destroyer.
I've bitten people in fights.
Hey,
Like,
there are no rules out there.
and that's what I hate too. When people are like, oh, well, jiu-jitsu won't work in the street because like there are no rules in the street. Yeah, I know, right? There aren't, and I know jiu-jitsu as well. So, along with my jiu-jitsu, there are no rules. I will bite you. I have done it before. I'm not above doing it again. I considered it recently. I was like, I will bite this dude if I have to. Like,
hey, teeth are strong. That's a powerful tool.
Teeth are strong and flesh is weak.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not fucking around. Like, so basically, the moral is, if there's an altercation with me, just know that I'm going to try to talk this out.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk it out, but if you force me to, I'm going to bite. And what was it, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where Caesar bit the neighbor's finger off? Yeah, I'm not messing around. If your finger's exposed, I'm taking it with me. So, not even on some old like breaking fingers and wrist locking. No, I will bite your finger off. Cause, let me chill, yo. Like, it's Saturday afternoon. It was like we started going dark. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But I think there is something to that, like, when you do something so physically intensive, so physically violent per se, it kind of calms you down. You're like, all right, I just spent an hour fighting grown men. Grown men. I'm out here fighting Navarro, Jeremy, Phil Oko, Brandon Epps, Mace. These are big dudes.
Yeah,
these are grown men. If I'm walking in the street in Baltimore City and some guy bumps into me and looks at me crazy, I'm just walking.
Yeah.
Even if he starts yelling at me, I'm just walking. There's no point. If I want to fight somebody, I can come in on Sunday.
That's. I had a guest on a while back, and he kind of made an interesting comparison. It was like, if you're a bricklayer, you've been laying bricks all day. You go to the bar after work, and some dude sits next to you and was like, "Oh, you're a bricklayer? I bet you I could lay bricks better than you." It's like, I don't have to prove nothing. I just got done doing this all day. I know what I'm capable of. I don't got to prove nothing. That's the same thing with fighting. It's like, oh, I bet you your jiu-jitsu stuff wouldn't work on me. I was like, maybe not. I don't got to prove nothing. You can come sign a waiver though, and we can find out.
Yeah.
But I don't got to prove nothing right here in this bar. Like, in fact, you want to get some fries? I'll share. I'm paying.
I'm saying, like fighting is dangerous. It is a dangerous thing. People die all the time from just fighting.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not gonna fight in the street, and you never know what could happen. Yeah, maybe you can be a jiu-jitsu black belt, and then get caught with a head kick by some random dude, and then what? And then it's like, for what? Because y'all had an altercation. Most altercations can be settled through words or through somebody leaving.
Yep. That's always the thought now, especially. It's like, look, just figure it out. You can figure it out. Anyone can figure anything out. And again, if you're choosing to fight, the operative word there is you chose to fight. Yeah. And you don't have to. Like, if you said something about my grandma right now, I love my grandma. Like, I love her more than anything in this world. You said something about my grandma, I was like, well, that's unfortunate. Like, why do you feel that way? Like,
damn, why my grandma have to catch a stray like that?
Yeah, what she got to do with this? Like, grandma right now is probably taking out her Christmas tree and putting away the ornaments and shit. She chilling. Why you attacking? There's no reason for, like, what was it? I know it's the sell the fight, I'm sure. Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee was like, man, everybody gonna want a ticket. Even your mama's gonna want a ticket. And then Chiesa was like, don't you ever fucking talk about my mom. And like goes charging him. It's like, fucking relax. like I get you're probably trying to sell the fight, and that's fine. Like, that didn't make me any more interested in the fight.
Did not make me want to tune in anymore.
Like, I happened to be watching the fight, but I didn't tune in because, like, they're like, because Chiesa was mad about his mom. It was like, man, chill. Like, sure, like,
You're about to fight this man in the cage.
yeah,
And that's what's going to send you off? Okay.
like it's like I don't know. It's like you feel like if you're gonna fight, like as a fighter, I just feel like that's your job. So it's like, you have some people like they have to have a reason to want to like go out there and hurt this person. And it's like I don't know, because I'm not a fighter. I don't get in cages. Fuck all that. That shit's wild.
You got to have a certain type of psychology to do that.
And I ain't got it.
I'd love for somebody to study that, but I guess you gotta hype yourself up to fight somebody, simulate fighting somebody to the death with your bare hands. So
Yeah. It's like you close that cage behind me. I'm like, ooh, I can still jump that fence.
Yeah, like, oh man,
I ain't trying to do this. Like, hey, how did I end up here? Like, because I feel like if I'm in the cage about to fight, I've got to ask a lot of questions. Like, what turn did I take that put me in this cage? Because I should not be here. I am not the one.
How many times did I have to say yes?
Yeah. Like, I made a choice.
And why did I not say no?
A choice was made, and I'm in this cage and I'm about to fight.
In this cage.
Me? Look, man, I look around this basement. There's plastic. There are action figures. I'm an action figure collector. I am not getting into a cage to fight. So if somehow you see me inside of a steel cage about to fight, know that I fucked up somewhere. Somewhere I owe somebody some money, because maybe I came in last in my fantasy football fucking league,
Yep.
and that was the punishment for coming in last place. You got to fight at MMA. Oh my god. Ooh. Oh, they're fucked next year. I got 'em.
That'd be a crazy one.
That's the punishment.
That's a good one.
I got them now. They think they slick.
Make sure you don't lose though.
Oh, I don't lose, son.
Well, there you go.
Oh, I started off bad, but I ended up in the championship again.
Okay.
3 years in a row. I lost 3 years in a row.
Hey,
But I was there. I showed up.
better luck a fourth time.
I lost to the same person 3 years in a row too. That's the
Dang,
worst part.
That
But
is the worst one.
in another league, he went 0-13.
There you go.
And I played him in a consolation. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be one of your wins. I'm not going to be your win. So he should be the one having to sign for an MMA fight, but he won't. I gotta chill. let me get back to this. Like, I have an outline for a reason. When you just leave me to my own device, I just really like come up with these weird scenarios.
But now we're back in it.
Yeah. So back to coaching and leadership. How do you balance discipline with kind of keeping the class fun for the kids? Like for the adults, I mean, we grown ups. It ain't no fun here. Y'all get out there and choke each other, but for the kids, you gotta keep it fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from really interacting with them as little people. I feel like you can't just bark orders at them, get mad at them when they don't understand or mess up certain moves. Like, you can't run it like youth football or youth wrestling or something like that. This is something that the parents are paying for. And if the kid is like, I don't want to go, some parents will be like, well, they don't want to go. We're done. And so
I ain't the one.
Yep.
Hey, if Sophie gets signed up, she she got a full year.
Hey, shout out to the parents that are parents. Do not get pushed around by a 6-year-old.
Nah,
you got powers.
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
That's what I'm saying. There you go.
Like,
Do not let that little person terrorize your home. But I think a lot of the balance comes from encouragement. Like, especially, I have a lot of kids that they come in very shy. They're very nervous. They might be the younger sibling, or they might be introverted, or certain things. It's kind of nerve-wracking, grappling as a child, I can imagine. So I try to use a lot of encouragement when they're sparring. If I see them getting frustrated when they can't get a move, you kind of gotta encourage them, be like, it's okay, just keep working on it, and then like, always gotta make sure to play games at the end, and always gotta make sure to give them a little prize, because incentives work, especially for kids. If they know this might be uncomfortable, I may want to go home and play Roblox, I might want to watch the streamer, but if I can get through this 5 minutes of sparring, I'm gonna be able to play the game and get a little piece of candy or two.
That prize box is key, son.
Oh yeah. You gotta bribe these little kids. These little kids. They got no morals. They got no morals.
I was excited for prize box because I'm giving out candy, but also at the same time, I was like, oh, what you got there?
Coach's tax is always live.
Of course.
Always live. I think that's how I kind of balance it, you know. Of course, it depends on the level, too, you know. Mm-hmm. If I'm teaching the older kids or the kids that are a little more experienced or want to compete, I'm going to be a little more on them. It's going to be a little less fun because I'm like, at this point, you're having fun because you love jiu-jitsu and you're trying to win some stuff. You're trying to advance some skills. So all that fun bullshit, you're going to have to leave that for something else. But, you know, there'll still be times that I'll make sure to let them play a game. You know, I'll let them have fun. You know, I'm not going to constantly tell them that they can't talk, they can't joke, they can't all that stuff. You know, if it starts getting a little too much, then I'll crack down a little bit. But at the end of the day, you kind of got to let kids be kids too. You know, This is it's an activity. It's an extra activity for a lot of them, you know, and especially for a lot of the parents. So it's like, you don't want your kid always coming out there crying. You don't want them always feeling down on themselves because they had a hard class. So, you know, it's always an evolution. I'm still getting better at balancing that. You know, I think I got it, and then Coach Vanessa comes in and she be working a class like she's half asleep, and it's better than 50 of my classes. So, you know, there's always little tricks and little things to learn. But I think encouragement, goals, and showing them that jiu-jitsu is fun. It can be fun.
Absolutely. That's, I think, again, like you said, fun. Show them it can be fun. Because I think for some kids, I think with my own kid, because during COVID, we were doing the online jiu-jitsu, which was wild. But my daughter would come down here with me. Because I think I did 2 or 3 classes with the kids. And it was just wild. But my daughter was down here, and we were doing the warm-ups, and she had to do squats. And she was like, I'm not doing no squats. It's like, hey, ain't no weight. Body weight squats, what's wrong with you? But I explained to my wife, because people always say, well, you can teach her jiu-jitsu. For my daughter, it's fun time with dad. And she loves like having fun time with dad, whether we're singing karaoke, we're playing cards, playing chess, anything. It's fun time. It's time. But with jiu-jitsu, to me, it's a little different. It's like, all right, look, we got to learn this skill. It's got to be serious. And she's like flopping all over the place. Like, no, don't fall like that. What are you doing?
How old was she at the time?
Like 5.
Yeah, that's prime flopping time.
It was like, well, I'm having a blast. Like now we could probably get away with, I think now she's like less inclined for it now because she's like into her glam phase. She got a bunch of like makeup and nail polishes and shit.
It's happening, yeah.
So it's like, oh, she don't want to mess her nails up. I can see it. All right, whatever. But she still likes to come down here like, Dad, can I go on the elliptical? Can I go on the treadmill? If I'm lifting weights, she was like, oh, can I lift weights with you? I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and do, you know, it's always leg day. When she comes down, it's always leg day. And she's like, squats. She's like, fuck. Why is he always down here doing deadlifts and squats? Like, you know, I'm old. The older you get, the more important it is for that leg strength.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you got to keep it fun for all the little ones. And hell, even like some adults like coming in as white belts, they gotta kind of come in almost and look at it like why am I gonna keep doing this? Because to me it's fun. It's fun as hell. So hell's not fun. I don't think hell's fun.
But you can make it fun.
It's hot. Like I don't mess with the cold. I don't mess with the heat like that either. So.
No, that's definitely a good point. You gotta keep it fun for the adults, which is definitely. It's been something that I've been learning I feel like with everything, learning how to make it fun for adults, especially like because adults, you know, you find a lot of adults have self-doubt, which is common for the human experience. You know, not everybody. I mean, I'd probably say less than 1% of people are completely confident in their abilities. You know. So a lot of adults, they come in, they're kind of already defeated. They see the shrimp, they're like, I can't do that. I'm like, brother, they just scooted their butt out. You didn't even give it a chance.
Just give it one scoop.
Yeah, you see them do shuffles inside, outside, backwards jog, and then they're like huff and puff, and they're like, "I'm dying, coach. How am I gonna do this?" It's like you got to give yourself a chance. I think a big thing with adults is like, one, you got to make sure they're not getting their ass kicked. Like that's one thing, you can't. Which depending on the body type, you're gonna be SOL. If you big as hell, my bad, bro. You going with Jeremy? You going with Epps? You going with Dylan? You going with all the big dudes?
You don't have a choice.
You don't got a choice. If you're little, man, you better hope. Some little guys are there because you're gonna be going people 30, 40 pounds. But also, I think shout out Coach Julius. Because that man can get any day one person doing jiu-jitsu. And I think that's the biggest skill when making it fun for adults. You got to be able to show them that they can do jiu-jitsu and apply it. I've seen this man, Julius, teach a new person how to bolo. They ain't never seen it before. And I saw him teach this white belt how to do it. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, Julius, you did that. I didn't say this to him, but I'm like, you did this in like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, but he knows how to explain jiu-jitsu in a way that somebody will get it, and he can modify it. I've seen people, when he realizes they can't do a movement, he'll make a modification so they can do the move without having to do maybe what we may think is a core movement. It's like, how are you going to do an arm bar without... I remember this because they were having a hard time pivoting their body on the arm bar. So Julius was like, you just, instead of pivoting your body, just scoot away. I think it might have been like a diamond. It was like, or like a triangle or something. It might have been a triangle. The person, they couldn't grab their leg and turn the angle. So Julius was like, that's okay. Just shoulder walk away. You'll stretch their body out and it'll make it easier for you to lock up the triangle. And this person did it. I was like, I would have never thought of that. That was genius. So it's like, I think the goal with making it fun for adults is showing them that they can do this and that there is a goal in mind. There is a reason why you're doing it and that you can do it. And I think if you can get an adult seeing that, then it becomes very fun, because there's nothing worse than you going with somebody, you're like, I don't even know what's happening. And this guy just grabbed my legs and now he's sitting on top of me. And now I'm getting choked.
Sometimes I be feeling that way with Mark.
Oh, yeah.
And I know what I'm doing.
Oh,
like, why?
Me too.
I can't say with Julius, this was like early when the Severna Park location opened up, and he was coach one of the classes, and we're shrimping down the mat. And he was looking at me shrimp, and he goes, "Why do you shrimp that way?" I was like, "Well, this is the way that I was taught to shrimp." And it was like top, like as you top leg and then, push back. It was like, he told me to use my bottom leg to push off. I was like, huh. And then keep your knee and elbow close. He was like, and he wasn't saying what I was doing was wrong. He made it very clear. He was like, I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but try this other way. And I've been doing it that way ever since. It feels right. Like, I feel more secure with my shrimping. It's just like, there's a way that he explains things that just feels like, huh. Okay. And I'm a visual, I'm a kinetic learner. So I have to physically do something. So for him to be able to say to do something and me to pick it up, was like, yo, is this some Jedi stuff? Like what we got going on here, dude? Like, how'd you just tell me to do that? And I understood. Of all people, I don't be understanding nothing. Like, but that's why I record all the coaches instructing, because I have to go back and I was like, okay, I write little notes.
Yep.
And then I come down here on my little mat and do things like jiu-jitsu things, and but him explaining things always just seemed to click. Whenever I talk to him, like, I always take something from him. It's like, I now know this. Now I will forever hold this. So, shout out to the leadership there.
Yeah, shout out to Julius, Keith, Sergio, Chris Tran, Vanessa Griffin, Devin Riley, all the black belts, all the coaches, Amanda Riggs, all the Southside, Sebastian. Shout out to the Muay Thai program. all of them.
That does bring me to my next question. What makes the culture at Crazy 88 work?
I think that the coaches, they're all experienced in their craft. You know, you talk to any of the coaches, they've all competed at a high level at their age and weight and level, and they keep up with what's happening. They see the trends, they follow the trends. They may not teach it per se, but they are aware of it. If they're not aware of it, and then it gets brought up to their attention, they will adapt, you know. And I think another thing is that we have different generations of coaches, you know. So like people like Julius and Keith, you know, they're older. They've been training for 20 plus years. So they have that they know kind of what works and what may not work in terms of coaching. You know, they're very adaptable. You know, it doesn't take long for them to see a trend, see a meta, and kind of adjust for it or learn about it. And then they have all this knowledge of where they can teach kind of older concepts, make it new again, or they're very good at building people up. Like Julius and Keith, they can get you give them time, and you give them endless time and resources, they can get anybody from blue belt to black belt. Anybody. But if somebody had just endless time and resources, easy. Keith and Julius could churn out world champions, you know. But I think in that same breath, you also have, and especially for the jiu-jitsu side, you have a younger core of coaches like Chris Tran, like Sergio, Amanda Riggs. Amanda Riggs is a little younger than Keith and Julius, but still a little older than.
She's kind of that mid.
Yeah, she's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Sergio, Chris Tran, Vanessa for the kids side. Now Devin Riley, that he's a new black belt. He's kind of coming into his own as especially a kids coach. But I'm sure he'll start coaching adults way more in the future. Especially, I'm always picking his brain on stuff. But they kind of have, you know, they're like boots on the ground. You know, they're fighting these high level guys. They're seeing what's happening, and they're kind of applying it to their own modern games. And then once they start gelling with Keith and Julius about it, then you just become a cohesive system. And then they'll start telling the lower level coaches like me and Mahoney and Southside, anybody else, they'll kind of be able to bring us up to kind of make our coaching better, make us better and being more aware of what's going on. Not that we don't all do our own separate studying, but I think the coaches are very connected and very in tune with what's going on, so that I think puts a leg up for the coaching compared to other places. Because a lot of other places, they might have 1 or 2 black belts, 3 brown belts, 2 purple belts, 50 blue belts, and 1,000 white belts. And even then, I say 50 and 1,000, it's more like 100 white belts and
maybe like 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe 8. I was gonna say 10 felt like too many.
I've never seen it.
You know, but like you go to Crazy 88, you go to a promotion ceremony, we got over 10 black belts.
Dude, even on like a Sunday open mat,
Yeah,
there's like 4 or 5 black belts in there, and I was like,
yeah. This Saturday class, we have 5. We had 4 black belt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black belts. 5 black belts on one class. People would dream for that, you know. And so I think that's just a testament to not just the coaching now, but the coaching throughout. The fact that people want to stay for long term. People want to get their black belt with Julius and Keith. You know, people buy in to the coaching and the system because they just know what they're doing. Very adaptable. Just very, very high level stuff. I mean, it's hard to get this high level training anywhere, let alone in the DMV, which is not really a historically big like martial arts mecca.
And
you know?
we got 3 spots.
Got 3 of them.
So, like I talked about this recently with a friend, teammate, you know, at the gym. Years ago, I almost left 88 / Ivy League. Almost left. It wasn't anything really wrong with the gym. It's never anything like, oh, I hate this place. I was like, let me look around and like kind of expand. I want to grow and see things different. Looking around at other gyms, I was like, maybe I don't. And that's not to say that other gyms were bad. It's just like I felt like what I was learning with 88/Ivy League, because I think we're in transition. We're transitioning from Ivy League to 88. I felt like what I was learning there versus what I was seeing through social media and also just seeing in an area. And there's so many gyms around here where they're practicing good jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
But it's like you're saying with our coaches, it's, boots on the ground. You'll see Julius and Keith, looking at matches. Even if our people were just looking at matches and understanding what's going on, catching on the trends that are building, getting ahead of things. And like you said, we may not teach it, but we are aware because you got to know what to look out for. Like I look at that when I'm training. Hey, I'm going to still drill the thing. This isn't something that's going into my game, but I got to know this.
Yes. Because
if you use that, I don't want to be like blind to that. Like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. You got to be ahead. So like seeing that kind of stuff at our gym is like that. It made it an easy decision. It was like, I'm going to go ahead and stick around here because like we were talking about today, Mark and I, like when we talk about like gyms in the competition records, it's like people say we're a competition gym, but then we were counting today. It was like, who's like actively like competed like, at least 8 times a year. And like we went through, it was like, it's not as many as you would think, but also too, the thing is, if you compete and I don't, I train with you. I'm going to learn a lot from you, from what you're bringing back from competitions, but I also got to be on a level for you to help you get ready for those competitions.
Exactly.
And then if I go to the next person, and that's going to pass over there, you go to the next person over there, it's going to pass. So you're all growing with each other, whether you compete or not. And that kind of plays to the level of what we're doing at the gym, whether it be competing, whether it's in-house tournaments. I mean, last week, Mahoney's Saturday class, walk in, I was like, all right, King of the Hill. Because of that in between New Year's and Christmas mode. So I was like, all right, King of the Hill. To which I was like, no. Dante, you're down. No. Not like this. But those are the things that pushes you. And that's the thing, too. I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, absolutely not. But that's how you get better.
Exactly.
Doing the things that you don't want to do.
Yes.
And I even heard him say, I wanted Dante down there because he needs to work on his guard. I was like, God damn it. Like, how did he know? Oh, he's your coach. He knows because he sees your guard is trash. But, like, I love at our gym that there's an ecosystem, right? There's so many different personalities, as any gym is. Like, I look at other gyms, a couple gyms, I should say. And it's almost like everyone's kind of a mirror of each other. Whereas our gym, in terms of like ability, we're kind of a mirror to some degree, but in terms of personality, there's so many different little weird pockets. And I love that because it's like, you should never feel not at home. You should never feel like out of place at a gym like Crazy 88. Because there's something for everybody there. I know I'm biased because I train there. Anyone listening, you're like, you guys aren't all that great. Maybe not to you.
Yeah, maybe not.
To us, we're fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, whatever. Get out of my face.
Get out of my face.
Before we get out of here, I'm going to hit you with a rapid fire. I didn't proofread these. So,
lay it on me. It's okay.
So, we're just going to run through them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I feel like we should have more. That's trash. All right, so I got some rapid fires, and I got like a couple last like things after the rapid fire. That's why it's shortened up. The always first question, gi or no gi?
I love gi.
I knew it.
I love gi. But I also love no gi. I'm going to say it's I'm sorry, Coach Sergio. It's got to be 60-40 gi. It's got to be 60-40 gi.
Like I was like, yeah, you just strike me as the guy that like, look, you can roll in a no gi. Like I know you can, but I was like, this guy loves a gi.
Look, man, I'm about to be 30, bro. I can't, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I tell people it changed when I turned 25. I was like, oh,
That
it's happening.
that gi slows down the game.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
and I love it. I love it.
I went no gi. Well, when I went to visit this other gym last week, I went no gi, and it was fine. But I felt my age.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Manny and Nogi. He's like 18. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, brother, you are fast. Fast. So 60-40 gi. I'm going to have to just plant my flag on that.
Someone told me like, yeah, you gotta meet up with Manny and roll with him. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Why? Why do I have to? I'm 47.
That's for my homie.
Dog, my hip hurts. Like I slept wrong the other night and I couldn't move for the first 30 minutes. And maybe I should see a doctor. But definitely don't got to roll with Manny.
Look, man, I got to rev up like an engine, man.
Yeah. Favorite move to teach the kids?
Teach the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Bolo and footlocks.
That's wild.
I like teaching kids footlocks because they got to learn it, and then it makes other coaches upset. So there's a little trolley part of that. And then I like teaching bolos because I feel like bolo is a move that everybody's like, I'm going to break my neck. I don't have the flexibility for that when it's actually so simple. So I love teaching kids that because I feel like then the kids are stoked because that's like kind of like the intro, like cool moves that you can do. You're like, wait a minute, I can just spin around their legs and take their back. So I like teaching kids that and the footlock. And 2026, I'm going to start teaching kids octopus guard. So that will probably be thrown in there too.
Favorite move to teach adults?
That's a good one. Probably the bullfight pass. And footlocks. Saying bullfight and footlocks, and also guard retention. I like teaching adults guard retention.
I'm here for it.
You know what? Yeah, scratch the footlock. Ooh, that sounded cool. Scratch the footlock and whatever else I said. I like teaching adults guard retention and octopus guard. Those two.
I'm here for the guard retention because I need to work on it.
Me too. I've been working on it for over 2 years, and I still got to work on it.
I'm 10 years in the game. I'm still like, yo, what are we doing?
But guess what? We got plenty of time.
Plenty. Harder role, competitor or coach? When I say role, I mean like your role. Which one is harder for you? Being a coach or being a competitor? I just realized I had to like, oh, those words sound the same. ROLE.
Probably being a competitor. Because when I'm a coach and rolling, I'm rolling with like the students. It's fun. I get to kind of show them what I'm teaching works, and I get to show them what else you can do. And it always trips students up when I start like doing flexible stuff on the ground. They're like, "How are you bending like that?" So it's more fun for the coach. But like competitor, it's way harder because I kind of fighting with a different mentality. I'm trying to keep up with points. I'm trying to do moves correctly and precise. Like when I shout out to Phil Oko, it's my guy. Shout out to Mark Romulos. Shout out to Jeremy Collins. These are like some of my main training partners, and it is not fun rolling with them. These guys are good. These guys are my size, and so it's hard. It's very hard to roll with these guys. So it's much harder to roll as a competitor because then I got to roll with other competitors.
I always forget when I'm going with somebody my size. I'm like, oh shit,
I could put it on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I could beat their ass, but then when you start beating my ass, I'm like, oh.
You're like, oh, wait a minute.
I
don't like this.
Like, is this what it feels like? Like, I'm sorry.
My bad, bro.
Best lesson jiu-jitsu has taught you off the mats?
You can't do it alone. You can't do anything alone. Like I said earlier, you can't do jiu-jitsu alone. There are plenty of solo drills and studying you can do, But if you don't have another person to do it with, then you will never be able to do anything in jiu-jitsu. And I think that's very important in life, you know, especially with how things are in modern society. I think now more than ever, you need other people. You need to lean on other people to get through life. So I think jiu-jitsu has kind of reinforced that and kind of showed me, you know, take the village, you know. I would never have won a tournament without the people that I trained with. And I will not succeed in life without people kind of helping me and supporting me and helping me grow. And I want to give that to other people. So I feel like that's probably the number one lesson. You can't really do anything alone.
Yeah. So what we're saying is Karate Kid was all bullshit then, because Miyagi and Danielson just by themselves, just like painting fences and washing cars. Trash.
You got to get Southside on here and ask him how good he thinks he can get somebody with just bag work. Or Sebastian, you know. If you got nothing else but bag work, not even a pad holder, just bag work, what's the ceiling for that, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't feel very high because, I mean, it's just a bag.
It's just a bag, exactly.
There's no movement. Mm-hmm. Like with pad work, there's X factors now.
That's why I watch Karate Kid. I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna crane kick somebody, training with an old guy. All right, man, for sure.
Yeah, trash. Mm-hmm. And then one thing you wish that white belts understood earlier.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to not know what's going on. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to get your ass beat, but you got to keep going. I feel like if anything, you know, when you first learn how to walk, we may not remember, but very few people they just stand up and start running. Same with jiu-jitsu. You got to learn how to do the cool things. You got to learn how to pass. You got to learn how to submit. You got to learn how to get out of positions. But I feel like a lot of white belts, they want to rush through everything. Mm-hmm. They just want to rush. So, and I think a lot of that comes from, you know, they feel some type of way. You get flustered, you know, especially if you start getting like a couple months in and you're like, man, I ain't do nothing. You know, you 2 years at white belt and you're like, where's my blue belt coming? And you can apply this with any belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt. You're like, when am I going to get this belt?
Please, that's God. So much.
Please. From
the other white belts, it's like, yo, I should be close.
Yeah, I should be close.
Maybe.
I'm like, brother, you don't even, you still bonking your head on break falls, man. I don't know about that one. So hold your horses. But I think it's good for white belts to remember, you know, it's a long journey. It's going to take time. And it's okay that it takes time, you know. Yeah. You gotta let it go. Just gotta let it do its course, run its course.
And like you said, we got time.
Always.
Just chill. Unless you quit and don't come back, then I mean you can always come back.
You can always come back. Doors are always open.
Yeah. Like I never think of it like if somebody quit and then they come back, I don't ever think like, oh, let's make fun of them. Like, nah, I'm glad you're back.
I'm always hyped. Anytime somebody comes back, I'm like, let's go. Give it another shot. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you go out there and you quit, it's like, damn, dude. You're just like on the doorstep of seeing what the potential was.
Yeah.
Then you come back and it's like, oh, you're back. Glad to see. Let's go. Let's do this.
It's like the meme of the miner. When he's mining and then he starts walking backwards, all the diamonds are right there. Yeah. That's how it is as a white belt. All the diamonds are there. Yeah. You just got to keep digging.
I was a white belt for, 3 years, I think? I want to say I started, when my daughter was born in 6, so 4 years. I was a white belt for 4 years.
Yeah, I was a white belt for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it was like, honestly, there was really no point in my mind after like month 6. I was like, oh, when am I going to get my blue belt? I was like, no, I was just there to train. Like, let me just get these reps in. I don't even care about that belt right now. I don't want to get choked by my shirt again.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do a fucking bump sweep, man. I didn't care about that blue belt. I was like, how can I do this bump sweep right?
Yeah, I didn't want Frank choking me no more with my T-shirt. That's all I was concerned with. Like, yo, I can't let this dude beat my ass.
I was trying to figure out how to stop getting brutalized by Baird, Epps, and Jeremy as a white belt.
I avoided them.
Them guys forged me. I would not be where I am without fighting those guys.
Actually, I wouldn't say I avoided them. I didn't cross circles with the Epps. I did. Epps, because Epps and I were white belts together, which is crazy.
Yo,
Crazy.
when I started training, he was a blue belt.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like we came in like white belt. I got my blue belt, and he got his a month later. And like when I saw him get his black belt, I was like, dude, that's a crazy journey to see. It was like, because watching this dude go through it and get it, it was like, dude, fucking nice.
Shout out Brandon Epps.
Let's make some
minted.
noise.
Oh,
got the applause
got
from
the
him, son.
soundboard.
Got the applause.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon Epps, one of our newest.
Actually, I think I'm gonna try to get him back on here for 300. I'm trying to get him in Baird.
You should. I think, that's one beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is the master's program. And I think that's another thing that makes 88 different from other schools is that we have a robust competitive masters team.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's so important. I mean, jiu-jitsu is accessible for everybody. And I think Baird and Epps are a perfect epitome of you can compete and be older.
Yeah.
You can be past unk status and still compete and look good doing it. And I think you should definitely get those two so they can talk about all that type of stuff.
Yeah, like I stopped going to Elkridge on Sunday for a little while. I think Mark got hurt, and he was my ride. I have my own car.
Yeah. Hey, you got
But
to buddy up sometime.
I was riding with him, but like, so I hadn't. The ideal came after that. I was like, yo, let me run into Baird and see if I can get him and Epps together at the same time for this episode, because I want to sit down with them. If I can't get them, I'm gonna try to get Chris Tran, Vanessa, and Sergio do like a little black belt summit.
That would be sick.
And like see where that goes. I might not even make an outline. I might just like, all right, go. Let's see where this goes.
Absolutely, because they all three of them have very unique stories, especially like Vanessa and Chris, starting from the kids program.
Yeah.
Sergio, the funny thing about Sergio is that he started doing martial arts through MMA.
Yeah,
he won the MMA fighter, and it's usually, and then he transitioned to no-gi and became one of the best in the world. A lot of times you see no-gi guys become MMA guys, but Sergio,
he went the other way.
Yeah, he went the other way. So that would be a very interesting conversation with all of them.
So I had Sergio on. This is when we did a remote, and I didn't have the right hookup for my internet yet. Like the internet, I was just doing wireless.
Yeah.
Now if I do remote, I hardwire into the.
Oh, absolutely, Ethernet that.
But like if we were recording, and this was when the whole basement was different. I was like back in that corner, so the connection was really weak over there, and it kept cutting out. And he like I could hear him telling the story.
Yeah.
And it cut out, and I was like, "Damn, dude!" I saw it cut out.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I don't want to stop this dude. So after he finished, like, can you tell that story again? I'm so sorry. And he told it again. And then when I went back and played it back, it actually didn't cut out. So, and that's where I had to work on my editing skills here, because I wanted to, because both times he told it was a little different, but really, really good. So I had to find a way to splice them together.
Yeah, you have to cut it up.
I was like, yo, I'm a black belt at editing, so nice.
Some audio and editing skills.
Actually,
I love it.
Actually, I'm kind of trash. Like the best I do is like, hey, we can make this louder. And they're like,
hey,
okay.
You need the bare bones.
I mean, I try. So yeah, I think we got a good run there.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of stuff. I think it was really dope.
I honestly feel like after like just hearing a lot of what you're saying, I was like, dude, I'm like inspired. Like I'm saying this right now, but we'll see at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like I'm gonna be at Elkridge in the morning for open mat. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how I sleep tonight. But I am like just the things you're saying like really had me like kind of dialed in. Like, dude, like I'm like in. But I also feel that way after your classes though too. Like I'll come home, sit down and eat, and look at the video, and like I'm like dialed in. So, there's something about your understanding of your coaching and just the way you talk about jiu-jitsu that I think goes a long way, dude. So, any opportunity you get, preach.
I appreciate it, Dante. I love jiu-jitsu. I think it's a beautiful martial art. I think it's something that everybody should do. I think as the years go on, it'll become more popular, and hopefully jiu-jitsu will become kind of what it is in Brazil. Just a staple of society. That'd be really dope. But thank you for giving me this opportunity to yap a little bit. I love jiu-jitsu. I got a lot of ideas, and they're only getting better. It's only the beginning.
No, for sure. Yeah, I would love to sit down and do this again, because it's like that's the thing. It's like having these conversations. Like, dude, like, we only got so much time, but I want
only so much
just
time.
more. I want to talk more. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to, as we're into 2026, I'm trying to set up more group episodes, especially amongst the gym.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of really fun personalities there, and just a lot of bright people. So
Absolutely.
It's like I want to get some of these minds together and start talking. I don't want to make it like my horror podcast. I have a thing each year that we kind of have as an overarching thing. I don't want to do it that way here on Off the Mats, but I do want to kind of keep it where I want to talk with more folks from the gym in terms of like group conversations.
Yeah,
so
that'd be really dope.
We're going to figure it out. We'll get you back on here solo and in one of these groups.
Absolutely, man.
Before we get out of here, you got any shout outs or mentions that you want to leave the listeners with today?
Shout out to Crazy 88. Just shout out to all the guys over there. We're trying to do good things. We're trying to do big things, and it's only the beginning. Shout out to Coach Keith. Shout out to Julius. Especially them two. Very big pillars of the community. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Sebastian. Shout out to Erica, Lindsay, Chrissy. All these people that really help and make everything work. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Nakia. Just all these people that help make it work. Shout out to all the white belts and all the people that do it casually. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's it. Gi season's happening. I'm gonna be competing a lot. We got a lot of established names, a lot of up and coming guys, a lot of kids. It's gonna be a very big year for 88. So just shout out 88 and shout out to you, Dante. Follow me on Instagram at the Great Big Bear. Also,
Got you. I'll put the links in there. Let them know where you at.
Absolutely, brother, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. And as always, to you all the listeners, thank you. If y'all have any questions, concerns, criticisms, please feel free to reach out. You can always find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram, and also Off the Mats Podcast as well on Instagram. I want to give a big shout out to my crew over there at Nerd Rage Radio. Bobby, Chris, Joe, Marilyn, Phil, Ricky, Tiki, Farrell, Chucky O, I think Gomez is part of it now. That's a new name I'm throwing out there. I'm just making shit up now, to be honest. Evan, the Prince of Wakanda, again, making shit up. But shout out to Nerd Rage Radio. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be doing the podcast probably. So thank you to those guys. If you like the podcast, thank them. If you hate it, blame them.
I got one more shout out. Shout out to Sean Gray. Shout out to his clothing company, Wearable Art.
Yes, sir.
Big things coming in 2025. He gonna be breaking into the market.
Nice. Actually, I want to get Sean back on here too.
Fashionista, man.
When I did top episodes for 25, he was there.
Oh yeah, of course he was.
I was like, yeah,
get him back in there.
I also want to shout out my other podcasts.
Oh yeah.
So, you like horror? It's a scary movie podcast, so if that's the kind of thing you're into, go get into it. We are working on a theme for 2026 of horror TV shows. So we're starting this year off with The Haunting of Hill House, which was on Netflix. It's a Mike Flanagan series. And I think our February episode is going to be Are You Afraid of the Dark? The old Nickelodeon jump off that a lot of us grew up on. And I believe in March, we're going to go back to Mike Flanagan with Midnight Mass. And I think in April, we're doing Twilight Zone. And in May, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? So you got at least the first 5 months of what we're going to be talking about for one of those episodes each month. So if you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out. Also, what was it on HBO? Welcome to Derry just wrapped up not too long ago. And I added it. It didn't get voted in because it wasn't part of the vote last year. But I don't really want to watch Scream, the TV series. I'm going to be honest. Fuck that show. So we're going to do Welcome to Derry in July. So if you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out. And if you're not, no big deal. It's fine. It's not for everyone. But, if you like scary stuff, we're here. It's at So You Like Horror on Instagram. All the words are separated by underscores, and the podcast, wherever you're listening to this at, it's probably there. I'm going to try to make some changes in terms of where it's distributed from, because I know Off the Mats pops up on YouTube. So You Like Horror does not. I want to do some video, but I don't like being in front of cameras, and it's a lot of editing. There's a lot of work, but I'm gonna try to figure out something. I got to get some video over there for So You Like Horror. That's a little bit more accessible versus Off the Mat. So we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna work through it. But otherwise, go check it out. We do appreciate it. And hey, I forget to mention this. If y'all don't mind, go leave a review. Wherever you listen to this, go leave a review. It really does help out. It helps in the algorithm. It helps us get seen. And, I don't get paid for this, but I think if enough people see this, maybe I would get paid. I don't fucking know. I'm not sure how that works. I just like collecting lives and talking to folks here on the podcast. So go leave a review if you dig in the show. If not, don't leave a review. Like, if you don't like the show, go on somewhere and get. But otherwise, thank you, everybody. We do appreciate you. And last but not least, I want to give a big shout out here to our guest here, my coach, friend, mentor, Christian Bear Thomas. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for your insight. And again, those Monday classes, I need to start getting to the Wednesday no-gi too, because I'm old, but grappling is grappling. But thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for helping at the jump. Everything you do for the community, like it goes a long way. So thank you.
I appreciate you, Dante. Thank you.
And as always, again, to you guys, listeners, thank you. Y'all know what it is. You guys keep listening, and we'll definitely keep making shows. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Deep with it. Now let me sing a song.